Hey everybody, Jose Gardner here with Long Range Tactics, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how to adjust your ATS barrel tuner to get the most out of your precision rimfire ammo. So as I mentioned, today we're going to talk about barrel tuners. There's a couple different brands on the market. The one that I've went with, I have one for both my center fire and my precision rimfire gun, which you see in front of you, is the ATS barrel tuner by Kinetic Security Solutions. I think the other ones, I'm not super familiar with them. I think they kind of all work on the same concept. But today we're going to talk about this one, and if you have the other ones, you can use this info as you see fit. But precision rimfire is a game that's really growing, and kind of the thing that we feel holds it back the most. There's a lot of awesome, this is a Voodoo, your Rimexes, even your Bergeras, your RPRs, a lot of them shoot lights out, but you hear a lot about lot testing and different things, and especially in today's kind of world of kind of low availability of ammo, what can you do to really maximize the ammo that you can get your hands on? My answer for that is the barrel tuner. I've been really impressed with it so far, and actually I'm on a new lot of ammo. I've got the Lapua Center X here, and so what I'm going to show you today a little bit is how I go about adjusting and tuning the ammo, and we're going to see how it goes. So it's pretty easy. This installs, this is a 1/2 by 28, which is the normal, right, rimfire or even AR threading of a barrel. This one's a 1/2 by 28. If you were to use it on a center fire, I have one that's the 5/8 by 24 as well. And it'll literally thread right onto your muzzles. This is just a muzzle thread protector. I tighten it on there pretty tight. Haven't had any issues with it loosening so far. If you're running a suppressor on your 22s, it'll hold it on as well. So not really gonna go over the install or anything, but really, like, once it's installed, how is it adjusted? So here we go. So one thing that I find really handy on the tuner is that when it came out of the box, it comes with a little sticker. That sticker is just a reference point where you can kind of know where zero's at. Obviously knowing 12 o'clock at the top of the barrel is one thing, but I just actually put that sticker there at 12 o'clock. And that's where I'm always going to start with zero. Every time I come back to tuning for a new lot, I'm usually just going to come back to zero. And as you can see here, if you can see my barrel, or the kind of the internal body, this is an internal body to the tuner, and then this is the tuner weight. The threading body I'm going to have where I am just rear of flush here with zero at the 12 o'clock position. From there, I'm going to tune likely clockwise, or screwing towards the back of my gun as I make my adjustments. One interesting thing that I saw here, if I can put up a screenshot on the video here, is that with the instructions out of the box, it'll tell you to make semi-minor corrections. It'll tell you 1 rotations, 2 full rotations. You can probably get a center fire dialed in, but for a rim fire, you're actually going to make bigger, heavier adjustments. So it's talking about 1/3 turns or 1/2 turns each time. And so the long story short of what we're going to do, this goes from 0 all the way around to 20. Which actually is 0 becomes 24, 0 and 24 are the same thing. So an eight tick marks, these little tick marks here are 1, 2, 3, 4. See how you can see the 0 and the 4. I'm going to go about 8 tick marks every time. I'll go an 8 value every time, but kind of like trying to find that node when you're reloading. Let's say I get all the way around to 1 full turn plus 8. And then I get to 1 full turn plus 16, and both of those were pretty good. And then when I go back to 24, it starts opening up again. I know that node, that little flat spot, probably happened between 8 and 16. So then I'm going to go back to 12. I'm going to go in between 8 and 16 and see if that got better. And if it got better or worse, I might go a little bit higher. I might go to 14, or I might go down to 10, or what have you, and kind of refine it. But what you're going to want to find in order to really kind of get close to that sweet spot is make big turns, 1/8 of a turn. A 1/3 of a turn, 1/2 of a turn, an 8 or a 12 value to really kind of try to find that quick sweet spot, or else you're going to lose, you're going to use up a lot of ammo without finding a lot of results. The other thing you'll notice is that it says is usually, you can take 2 shots, and if those 2 shots are nowhere close to each other, you can move on. I'm going to do 3-shot groups every time just to feel good about what I'm doing, but I do trust the 3-shot group. I don't feel like I have to go to 5 to find the setting that I want. So we're going to go ahead and get some shooting in and see how this goes. So a couple of notes here before we get started. There are various targets you can use, but what you want, as you're going to see the paper down here kind of set up, is I have several targets set up because I don't know how many settings it's going to take. It'll keep you from running back and forth and creating more work than you need. You could probably stack a lot more targets on this paper, but I like having my targets nice and far away from each other, so I know 100% without a doubt that as my POI shifts, as I'm adjusting the barrel tuner, that I don't have groups getting into each other, and also that they're easy identifiable. So the other tip that I'll tell you, keep a notebook on you, and as you look down here at my paper, you'll see that I have 3 papers like this set up top to bottom, and then one on the right. That one on the right is just for extra, but that way I can look here and I can say that top paper target 1 is going to be 0, 0, i.e. 0 setting at flush with the barrel, and that way 1 rotation, 0 setting. I can annotate stuff like that. So I'm going to keep a note here of what the groups are, and that way I don't have to write anything down there ahead of time, and I can be very flexible in my tuning plan as I find where I want to adjust to. So we're going to go ahead and take some shots here, 3-shot groups, and see what happens. One note to have here too, this target is being shot at 100 yards. I have no wind here. I'm pretty lucky. I'm in Alabama. I got some trees here. It's a pretty calm afternoon. And these Voodoos, honestly, in any of these good ammo and good rifle combos, at 50 yards, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell the difference in the barrel tuner. I like to do 100 yards on days there's no wind, just so I can really kind of amplify any differences and really figure out what my note is. 50 yards is fine. A lot of people do 50 yards. If you have somewhere where you can do 75, obviously that's going to really kind of show minute differences, little subtle differences better than 50 will, but kind of go with what you can. Obviously on a windy day, maybe you back it off to 50 where the wind doesn't affect your difference near as much as the actual tuner. But calm day, easy shooting, 100 yards, I'm really going to get to see the difference in this tuner. All right, so as you can see here on this target 1, I shot 6 groups there, and it really looks like 8 and 16 were probably coming together. I mean, when you think about what can a 22 do, at 100 yards, it's pretty. I think all of those groups are honestly more than acceptable, but those 2 seem pretty close, like they were good, and they were a good kind of a close relief rather than a flat or horizontal spread. So I'm actually going to go back to kind of what I call setting 12. Honestly, kind of turned out the way I thought, and we're going to go back to 12 and see if I can get a good acceptable group, a clover leaf group, something tight, and see then if we need to go either way. All right, so I just shot 12, and it is as good as 8 or 16, but I got a hunch and I'm actually gonna go back to 10 and just see what happens. So as you can see here, target 10, or setting 10, 0, 10. Honestly, it looks pretty good. They're all, I think, well, you know, pretty close to half MOA, which at 100 yards pretty good. So the barrel tuner really can work wonders. I think you saw we kind of went through a flat spot and beyond it and back. Very similar to finding the nodes in your load testing. They are a little pricey up front, but when you think about, you know, what a pricey rig is, or even if you want to avoid a pricey rig, a very pricey rig, and go something middle of the line and squeeze everything you can out of it, I really think these barrel tuners are really helpful, and they're not that difficult to use. Just my advice to you is always be willing to make those big adjustments. Make those, you know, third turn, half turn adjustments till you find something that starts looking good, and then go back in the middle. Because if you try to go, you know, 2 clicks, which is, you know, only a 1/12 of a turn, and you go 2 clicks in rimfire, man, you're just not going to create enough difference till you really do get to that sweet spot. So big adjustments. Make sure you can track your data. Get a target that works. As you saw, I was kind of moving all over the square, even got out of the square a little bit. So had my targets been closer together, I might have fumbled some data together. So pick a good target, pick you a good calm day, sit down and take non-rush shots, and you really will be able to squeeze the most you want out of your precision rimfire. If you like this video, make sure you follow us for more. Go to subscribe to everything. Subscribe to our YouTube, Long Range Tactics is the name. Go to our Facebook group, Long Range Tactics, Instagram, follow us, Facebook page. We love putting out information like this and more. Give us any ideas of anything you may want to see. We hope to help you in the future, and we hope to see you at the range. Thank you.